Um, Firstly, thank you for joining me. And um, the reason I started going live every Saturday is to make sure I think about my grief and process some of it, or just explore it and feel less alone with it. So I really appreciate anyone who shares this time with me on a Saturday morning at 11:30, give or take a few minutes, or sometimes half an hour if I'm kind of struggling a little bit to get motivated and get on with my day. So I'm Sinead, and I lost my daughter to suicide in 2020, and it I didn't know anything really about grief, I'll be honest, because the I've lost people, and it's been different to how it is now with losing my daughter. It's just so different. And I've never really thought about the things we say to each other when you've lost someone close. And it's really difficult because a lot of the standard phrases that we say to each other, they're not helpful, or I didn't find them helpful. And sometimes I just look at people with disbelief that how can you say this to me? Like, it was really difficult. At the same time, I understand that I was that person saying those things as well, not so long ago. Well, 5 years, nearly 5 years ago, but it still feels like yesterday that I lost my daughter. So it is, I'm still, well, I suppose the whole topic is like sort of healing at your own pace. Like, what is, how long should you give yourself to grieve? And society's expectations, does it match up? Do your friends support you in the way you need? Maybe you don't need your friends' support, and maybe you just need their understanding. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to say this is a safe space to talk, but obviously it's online. So only just say what you feel comfortable saying, but I'd really love to hear your views on it as well. And any experiences perhaps that you've had, either positive or negative, or how you're feeling right now. So if you're watching live, can you just um, tell me, maybe put a broken heart if you have lost someone close to you? And even if you watch this back later, um, please maybe put a heart so I know that you watched it um, on repeat. So, hi Zoe. Is that a Zoe I know or Zoe? the So yeah, so feel free to join in the discussion. Like, I'm not here to preach or anything because I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who who is living with grief and finding a way through. And hopefully, you'll join me on this journey. I share a live video, do a live video every Saturday morning, 11:30, and then I try and do some short 8 minutes, 20-minute videos, maybe once every couple of weeks. I'm trying to be more committed, but yeah, today, I suppose I heard the news that if you lose a baby, I think it might be within the first semester, that you can now have bereavement leave from work, and it's 2 weeks, and I was just thinking how society just expects you to be getting on with it 2 weeks later. And up until recently, you know, if you had a miscarriage, you'd probably end up going back to work within a few days. um, with your head messed up and having to just get on with it and put on a mask. And it's just so common that we have to wear a mask when we're grieving, and you're kind of pushed to move forward with your grief, and be done with it within a set amount of time. I mean, I know I was told quite frequently that it would be the first year is the hardest. You just got to get through this year. This year will be the hardest, and then you've done all the firsts. Well, do you know what? I'm still dealing with the firsts, and I don't know if anyone else has found that actually, yeah, that first year was really hard, but I was kind of I was really fortunate that I was supported well, by my friends and even I would say work colleagues in that first year. The second year, when people are expecting you to kind of be getting back to normal now, get to, you've never, I mean, quite often people have acknowledged that I'll never have a normal that I had before. It is very different, but it's trying like now, 4.5 years on, almost 5, I'm trying to find a new normal. I'm still grieving, even though I was supposed to have left that behind in the first year. And it's quite hard to balance it, the expectations of how long you're grieving for and how you grieve and what you're experiencing. Has anyone else found that quite tricky? Oh yeah, by the way, I haven't got my little my Cassie here with me to say subscribe to the YouTube channel. um, so yeah, so please subscribe. Yeah, if you haven't already, and like the video, and just please support so I can make more of these videos and have more discussions. And if you're interested in discussing anything with me in future for collaborating, please give me a shout. But yeah, I just want people to know, really, by doing these videos, that they're not alone. Because sometimes you feel quite isolated, especially when you might see other people getting on with it and they seem to be grieving better than you, or it's not affecting their life as much as your grief is affecting you. And we do see that, like, families just fall apart. They either become stronger or they fall apart, and that's really hard. But hi, Fabian. It's really hard. It's really difficult because one person may feel that the other isn't grieving enough, and it may just be that they're grieving in a different way. I know people may see me out and about and smiling and appearing to get on with life, but I'm still grieving. But it's just, you show what you show at different times, and yeah, please feel free to share any experiences or thoughts you have. So yeah, I just want to acknowledge like how heavy grief is, and if you feel you're carrying that alone, it can be really difficult and really isolating. So please join me on a Saturday morning. I know another comment that used to really upset me actually, and I still do get that comment, but people would say things like, your daughter wouldn't want you to be sad. And that's so difficult because I just want to scream at them. Like, if she didn't want me to be sad, she would have stayed here and fought through her problems. And, it, it's really difficult because of course I'm gonna be sad. My daughter's died, and she died by ending her life. So clearly she wasn't in a good place when she died. She wasn't happy. She wasn't glad. Like it's just to know that your loved one is in so much pain and you couldn't be there for them. And why am I not going to be sad? Like my daughter's not here by my side to, um, like, or to phone me or text me and go, "Mum, should we go for coffee? Let's meet for lunch." Um, Even the like annoying little things to leave her snotty tissues on my settee, like, like how am I not going to be sad? Then, and I'm sure like if Diva was watching or is watching, thank you, Louis. And if Diva's watching, she is not gonna, can you imagine her looking down at me and going, "Yeah, my mum's not bothered that I'm dead." Like, well, I can't see that making her happy. So yeah, so really, um, things like that I found really quite difficult. And I don't know, what do you do when someone says something like that that's quite, kind of digs in, it hurts. What do you say? Do you smile sweetly? Thank you. Yeah, you're right. I don't know, what do you do? Or do you just tell them, yeah, thank you. I'm really glad that you don't understand how this feels because actually, if you'd been through it, you would know not to say that. What do you say? Um, when people kind of talk about you being stuck in your um, grief. Um, so, oh, so yeah, I need 3 roses in 10 minutes on TikTok. So yeah, please send roses. But yeah, people looking at you like you're stuck in your grief and you need to move on now. It's like, I can't imagine ever, ever not missing Diva. I can't, I will miss Diva forever, and I know I am not seeing her in her bodily um, form next to me. I feel like I get little signs, but that's not enough for me. Like, I want Diva back. I want Diva here, and that can never happen. She's not going to come back it's not like when she went uni and I was missing her, but I knew she'll come back. That, it's so I'm always going to carry the grief, and it's just what you do with the grief, I guess. Um, and I'm trying, and no one can say I'm not trying. I I've created a festival in her memory, the Every Little Thing Festival, and it's a way of helping people feel a lot less alone, either with suicide grief or with suicidal feelings, whether that's past or present. It's helping people feel less alone, that maybe supporting someone who's suicidal, whether that's through they're working with vulnerable people or working with people, because let's face it, it's not just vulnerable people feel suicidal, it is people. And there's a whole scale of feeling suicidal. And it's about getting that conversation in the room and obviously, um, yeah, educating people and also celebrating that we are here, we're still here. If you fought through any of those feelings, you're still here. So that's how um, that's one part of how I share my grief, I suppose. And also by doing these videos as well. So yeah, um, do you ever feel like you're rushing your grief. Um, and this is hard. I don't know whether, for me, I don't feel like I'm rushing my grief, but I do feel that sometimes I'm hiding it a lot because I have to put it aside just to be able to get on with normal life. And yeah, that can be quite difficult. Um, so yeah, so that can be really, um, it's not that I'm not grieving, but sometimes I don't acknowledge it. And that's why one of the reasons this Saturday morning is for me to think about it, think and acknowledge. Um, and sometimes I find that you have to hide your grief just so that other people don't worry about you so much. I know, especially in the beginning, I don't think people really worry about me now like that. There's the odd person, but really, in the beginning, I feel like people worried that I might follow her, and so they were there a lot more. And I'm really glad they were, and I will always appreciate that. I know for some people as well, they may know more than one person with a similar loss who are grieving, and they might look at one person and be like, "Well, why are you not doing what she's doing or he's doing? Like, why do you seem stuck?" But the other person is like living life and grateful for what she's got or he's got. Like, we don't know what's in someone's head, so you don't know. You can't really comment on and compare two people's grief because everyone's got their own relationships with the person. Everyone shows their grief differently. On TikTok, can anyone send me a rose, please? Send me a rose. I just need 3. um, yeah, it's. I don't think you can be behind on grief. I don't think you um, are stuck. I think sometimes you have to feel your feelings to be able to work through them. And if you're not feeling those feelings and you're pushing it down, then you're not working through them. And oh, thank you. It's J Baby. Thank you. And it's really yeah, it's really difficult because when you do feel that maybe you do feel a bit stuck in your grief, it's really hard. And I think it's important to just move through it. Oh, thanks. Oh, Liana, thank you. They're a bit, yeah, they're reflective. I got them on Amazon. I bought a pack of like 7 of these glasses because whenever I get reading glasses, I'll just lose them. So I've got them everywhere, but I only know where 2 of them are. So I think it was a good buy. I needed it. Um, but yeah, and I think if you do feel stuck in grief, it's quite a nice idea to start journaling because by getting those thoughts on paper, you can see that you can identify the feelings that you're going through and maybe understand them better and understand yourself better and be kinder to yourself because actually most of the time we need kindness and unfortunately we are the harshest critics, definitely without a doubt. And if we treated ourselves as though we were our best friend, we would be a hell of a lot kinder to ourselves. So but yeah, then sometimes it's okay just to step away from the world for a day or 2. I mean, I always think to myself, when I'm going through difficulties, because sometimes things do get on top of you, and the grief is always there underneath. And when I'm having difficulties with other things, it impacts, how I feel generally. And grief is there. It's the biggest thing in my life, the biggest negativity in my life. So obviously, if I'm going through something, that's coming up too. And I do tell myself I can't just stay in bed. Like, yeah, you can stay in bed for a day. Anyone who is ill is allowed to stay in bed. You know, if you're having difficulties with either your mental health or the grief's too heavy, by all means, like it's not wrong to stay in bed. But I think you have to know that you need to get up out of that bed. Um, you have to get out of that bed at some point. You have to bring yourself out of the grief to, yeah, because it's not easy. And another thing I found is that, people will tell you just to do a couple of things. It's fine, just stay in bed, don't do anything, just leave everything, put everything aside. But I'm still playing catch up, um, trying to catch up on all the things that I haven't been doing, and that is quite difficult. So, but I'm getting there. I feel like I'm getting there. But, is there anything that you found helped at all? Oh, hi, Alexander from Manchester. I hope you're well. Yeah, I find sometimes even just sitting out in the garden for a little bit just gives myself a little bit of space. But life just does not give you that much time that sometimes you need. I do keep saying I need a month away. I want to go to St. John for a month, a whole month, and just be and just let all the feelings come up that want to come up, because I do find day-to-day life, you have to still function and be productive most days, and it can be quite hard to fit in the grief. But yeah, I found this interesting. This book's been really helpful. Um, How to carry what can't be fixed, especially in the early months. I was forever picking up this book. How to Carry What Can't Be Fixed, A Journal for Grief by Megan Devine. And in here she says, there are losses that rearrange the world, deaths that change the way you see everything, grief that tears everything down, pain that transports you to an entirely different universe, even while everyone else thinks nothing has really changed. So you didn't need this loss so that you could learn what's really important in life. You didn't lose this just so something more right for you can come along. The work of transformation does not apply here. You can't just act positive, find meaning and cheer up. So, and I think it's so right. You can't just, you do it in your own time. Grief does not have a timeline, and there's no like blueprint to it. So I also like this book as well, The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. And it says, this is the ending, like talk about spoiling the ending. But I just like this. It says, nothing truly ends, it changes. Change is eternal. In being change, you too are eternal. You are here in this moving moment, and in being here, you are also forever. And yeah, it says, a fire becomes ash, which becomes earth. Sadness becomes joy, sometimes within the same cry. Birds molt feathers and then grow new ones for winter. But yeah, I like to think that Diva is still here, and she's been a change. She's made a change in the world for the better for some people. Obviously, it's just so painful for many of us that have lost her and are still grieving. We're still living with the pain. And I don't know whether we'll ever stop grieving, but I think we'll call it a day for today. And I hope that wherever you are in your journey, you don't feel alone. And like, please do just check in. Let me know, what has someone said to you that has been really painful to hear. Let me know what has helped. Let me know how you dealt with that situation. How did you tell them that that was really painful to hear? Yeah, let me know your experiences. And or maybe you don't know how to respond to something or a situation in your grief. And obviously, put it in the comments. Either myself or someone else might have been in your shoes and be able to tell you what we did. So, but yeah, thank you so much for being here. And just remember to be kind to yourself. And if you're having a difficult day, be extra kind to yourself in whatever way that looks like for you. So, and join me next Saturday, 11:30 in the morning, and yeah, on YouTube and TikTok. So thank you. Have a good day.